Dexter Morgan is the Bay Harbor butcher.
You must cease and desist, Captain. Go home.
But
nothing. If you are still here tomorrow, I will have you arrested.
Dexter Resurrection Episode 9, Touched by an Angel. Wow, hell of an episode. It was filled with one chilling scene after another, each of which exuded high-level intensity, and it all built up toward that incredible cliffhanger ending. Since the very beginning of the season, I strongly maintain that the inevitable forthcoming showdown between Dexter and Batista would make or break Dexter Resurrection. A lot of fans were mighty disappointed in Dexter New Blood, where one of the most frequently cited complaints was that we never got that Dexter-Batista showdown back then, where it was dangled all around but never came to fruition. They teased the idea, but it never came together. Here in Dexter Resurrection, it was all about the showdown between the two. The main story here, the key component, the driving force behind everything in Dexter Resurrection, it has all very much been predicated on Batista's efforts to bring the real Bay Harbor butcher to justice, the one and only Dexter Morgan. In the moment of truth, Dexter could not murder his old friend Batista. The code took a backseat to Dexter's evolving priorities, and this was not the first time that happened in this episode. Dexter even went so far as to let Charlie off the hook, when the same principle applied, despite the fact Charlie wasn't in law enforcement. Dexter understood that Prater was the puppet master pulling the strings, and he decided to let her off the hook. This proved to be a terrible error in judgment, where Dexter's ordinarily impeccable instincts betrayed him, and this again circles back to Dexter's evolution throughout Dexter Resurrection. The beginning of this shift actually happened back in New Blood, when Dexter and Son were reunited. But throughout New Blood, Dexter was like a reformed alcoholic itching for another drink after he fell off the wagon, where he did anything and everything in his power to convince himself that Harrison was exactly like him. Ergo, Dexter had no choice but to teach Harrison the very same code that Nutjob Harry once taught him. In short, Dexter was using his son as a scapegoat, as an excuse to figuratively start drinking again, to escape the confines of his routine that allowed him to struggle his way through self-imposed hibernation over 10 long years. But as all that happened, Dexter developed a real bond with Harrison, which continued here in Resurrection. Where Dexter's course began changing here is when he fully understood and accepted that Harrison wasn't a sick bastard like he is. That the apple fell further from the tree than Dexter initially wanted to believe. But throughout the season, Dexter's main priority shifted from don't get caught to protect Harrison. Even in this episode alone, with everything going on, Dexter was completely open and honest with Harrison. Complete trust there. Protecting Harrison became something that superseded the code, and Dexter's honesty with Harrison has been on full display since he came clean about the full story involving Rita, and his own actions that played a role in all that. Rita wasn't the only person who fell victim to Dexter's lifestyle, even if she was an indirect victim. There were others, most notably Dokes and LaGuerta, and also Deb, where her death actually resulted from the odd moment where Dexter exhibited restraint when he decided not to kill Saxon. All the same, were it not for Dexter doing his thing, Deb would not have died the way she did at the hands of Saxon. Rita would not have died the way she did at the hands of Trinity. LaGuerta would not have died the way she did at the hands of Deb. And Dokes would not have been held captive in a cage and left to be murdered at the hands of Lila. Ironic that history is repeating itself on multiple fronts here with Batista. And at the end of this episode, Dexter was the one left trapped in a cage, or a vault as it were. But Batista lost his battle against Dexter, and is now yet another indirect victim of Dexter being Dexter, where he was gunned down by Prater. There have been a lot of parallels with some of the storylines from Breaking Bad, And without spoiling anything from that show here in this video, Batista met a similar fate as someone from Breaking Bad, and Prater is similarly beginning to become a Gus Fring type of character, whose resources, influence within the community, and raw power, they represent a big bad villain unlike anything Dexter has ever previously encountered. Batista now sleeps with the fishes, so that showdown, the make-or-break story in Dexter Resurrection, that showdown is over. And in my humble opinion, it did indeed make the season work. And what's especially impressive to me is the fact that the demise of Batista directly corresponded with the rise of Prater. Batista was a beloved OG character, and he wasn't murdered by Dexter's hands, but rather by that sick bastard Prater. It was wonderful writing, and it's nothing short of captivating to finally see Dexter being the one in a totally helpless position, trapped like a rat in a cage, or like a Bay Harbor butcher in a vault of a billionaire every bit as demented as Dexter himself. Dexter may no longer view rule number 1, don't get caught, as the highest priority, but that doesn't mean that he's ignoring all of the code. Indeed, Dexter letting both Charlie and Batista off the hook proves that he still embraces another key aspect of the code, that he will not knowingly kill innocents, even if it means getting caught. Dexter insists on killing those who fit Harry's code, and Prater's merry band of serial killers gave him several targets where he did not even need to do a deep dive to vet them for proof. In that sense, throughout the entire season of Dexter Resurrection, he almost seems to be embracing a vigilante approach, where he fancies himself like the Dark Defender. Harrison suggested that Dexter has a great sense of justice, and Dexter seemed pleased by the suggestion. Dexter helped him deal with Elsa's problem, scaring the bejesus out of the slumlord king of New York. And beyond that, Dexter's friendship with Blessing seems to have real meaning. Dexter seemed genuinely upset at himself for revealing Blessing's secrets, and it seemed to go a bit beyond his usual superficial level. Despite all his rage, Dexter is still just a rat in a cage. Leon Prater is the man in control, and knowing what Charlie said, that Prater exploits everyone's weaknesses, and the fact that she and Prater already know Dexter's weakness is Harrison, there is no doubt that that's the next piece of the puzzle here. Prater is going to use Harrison to leverage Dexter into doing what he wants, which may mean putting on a show for Prater. Perhaps Prater will even give Dexter the chance to slay the one who got away, Al. Prater loves himself a front row seat of the action, and he is nothing short of ecstatic that he has the one and only Bay Harbor butcher trapped for his own amusement. Prater is thrilled to have an infamous new captive, and Harrison is the key to pulling his strings. And allow me to just say, Peter Dinklage is a phenomenal actor. He was amazing in Game of Thrones, and casting him in this role was perfect. I cannot praise his performance enough. Had anyone but him been cast in the role, I don't think it would have the same magic. This leads me to believe and hope that maybe Prater's story carries over into the next season. At this point, I'd almost prefer a wild cliffhanger season ending than seeing something neatly wrapped up as is typical for Dexter season finales. Imagine a finale where Dexter is forced to kill Al in front of Prater, and he does so with threats on Harrison's life. Maybe Quinn shows up in New York looking for Batista, where he ultimately explains a thing or two to rock star Claudette. Perhaps the Prater situation gets to the point where Harrison is even held hostage alongside Dexter, right before his eyes, where Dexter has to do whatever Prater says, maybe kill someone who does not fit the sacred code, with Harrison's life in the balance. Perhaps Dexter will be forced to kill Harrison's new love interest, Gigi, or someone along those lines. If they ended on that type of a cliffhanger, I personally think it would be better than seeing Dexter win the day triumphantly with a vintage Dexter happy ending. Because if they really are planning to do 3 or more seasons of Dexter Resurrection, they are never going to find a better big bad than what they established here in Leon Prater, especially after what he did to poor Batista. The foundation is there for a longer story, and I, for one, hope they do Prater's character justice with what they have going here. But whatever happens, I sure am fired up for the finale, and I thought that Dexter-Batista showdown played out damn good. That, along with Dinklage, made the season. Whatever happens in the finale, the season was a smashing success in a franchise that has amazingly returned to form. Dexter Resurrection, indeed. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful night.
I will be your Medici to your Bay Harbor butcher.
When it all goes down, believe me, you'll understand. But for now, the less you know, the better.
If I really am who you think I am, this can't possibly end well for you.
I may be the Bay Harbor butcher, but I promise you I didn't kill them.
It's your fault. Now I'm dying.
Bay Harbor butcher. Just saying it out loud. Bay Harbor butcher. Oh, it gives me goosebumps.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.